So you've seen a couple pool builds, how things should go. Doesn't quite always work that way. So today we're in San Diego, California with the homeowner Roger here. He had his pool built about a year ago with various contractors, and we're here to assess the damages. There's some concerns. You might have a contractor that skips out, gets paid, you never see him again, and you get left with a project, you know, almost done, 80%, 95%, all the money's expended. So we're here to help Roger out. So let's take a look at what he's got. So the reason we did this YouTube is to inform the homeowners, contractors how to do things right. Obviously, you have a beautiful property, nice concept. It's, you know, well built for the most part, but there's obviously some details we have to go over. So tell me, how'd it go? What was the scoop, man?
They came, they did their job, a lot of stuff I noticed in the end was very sloppy, you know, and kind of trying to get a hold of them after was really hard to this day.
So you had a licensed guy, a licensed contractor?
Licensed contractor. They came, they did the job like I was saying, but just half the job is just halfway there.
Did you feel like you were getting people from an actual company or just random mom and pop guys, no uniforms?
I feel like the owner is a legit company, but it was, I'm not gonna bring up the name, but the people that work for him were definitely just, you know, that 2 months under their belt. You know?
So that's very common, right? The companies, you get bigger, you got to expand. It's hard to find resources and help, so you start grabbing whoever's available. They might be putting drywall for the past 6 months, and then the next week they're at Roger's house doing rock work. So let's take a look at some of the concerns, man. Let's start with the pool. You got everything functional? Your equipment works?
Functional. I needed help with starting up the jacuzzi. They weren't there.
Nobody came?
No one ever came. I had to actually have my pool guy get a hold of Penier and
walk you through
and do it himself. They never came once to help me. There was miswiring done. The pool guy had to find out, call one of his other buddies that knows the Penier system and redo it. Honestly, other than that, you know, a couple things I really don't like about the pool, like the bar. Yeah. I don't know if you
So talk to me a little bit about the stools. So what was the decision to put plaster on them versus just create a fake wood cap? Right, because when you do one thing, when you plaster caps, right, I hate doing it because it's impossible to get them uniform, right? You're not going to get a perfect circle. If you look closely over the top, you'll see that they're kind of elongated, some bigger, smaller. They could have easily created a fake seat like you have up top and just make it look a lot more natural. Is it the right height? Are you hitting your knees?
The height is good, I would say, but you know, I would say we should have had wood looking on the top of it. I agree with you on that because it
blends, it flows better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that they did. I actually paid extra to have the wood work that you see on the seats.
Yeah.
You know, the
actual art on. So one thing on the swim up bars. So California, I mean, it's a code. It's a stupid code, but the maximum projection you can have is 2.5 inches. You obviously have about 8, which there's nothing wrong with it. They consider it a drowning hazard if somebody swims, but that's not somewhere where somebody's gonna hit their head and drown. But I like them. Cantilever, you know, what you have now, so I wouldn't call that nothing wrong. I would definitely think about demoing those caps and just making them into like a real nice rock work. You drain the pool down to enough to where you can work and then fill it right back up. But your plaster's beautiful. I don't see any issues. It looks like you have some Stonescapes Aqua Blue Mini Puerto Rico blends, top notch. It's well done. They washed it well, so there's no issues on the plaster, right?
No issues.
No issues. So this pool's how old?
It's a year old.
A year old. All right. What about the coping? You happy with the coping?
You mean this part, right?
Yeah, the rock work on the edge.
Yes or no? I think the way they come into each other could have been done better.
Yeah.
You know.
So one big issue here, and this is for all pools, you gotta have an expansion joint, right? So in between the deck and the pool, you have the weight of the water, the forces pushing this way, the weight of the house and the deck this way.
Yes.
So you're supposed to have a quarter-inch, half-inch of mastic, and then you put epoxy in there with sand to make it look natural.
Exactly.
Over time, depending on how the ground forces work, you said you had some bad soil here, right? Very clay, sticky dirt.
Clay.
If this starts moving, you have the potential to pop off sections of your coping into the pool, right? So the right thing to do would be saw cut down, all the way down to dirt, put the expansion joint, fill in with epoxy, silica sand on top.
This whole thing.
Nah, this is fine. You don't have to do that, man.
Just
you don't
over here.
just over here, yeah. I mean, your deck is fine. There's no need to spend money on that. But to get the expansion joint, I would definitely recommend that. On your coping, you know, rock work is one of those, it's art, right? So some artists are better than others. People have opinions. Just from my opinion, it's there. There's not a lot of pop to it. This to me would be like a base coat.
Super.
This is a base coat, no detail. If you look at the shadowing on your wall, see how they put a little bit darker brown. It looks like they did 2 colors here, a tan, 3 colors. So you have, you know, your base, the yellow, and then some speckles of dark brown. I mean, I would have followed that theme here if you had the material. And also what you're missing is some black, some shadow.
They did, but the pool keeps overflowing.
Oh.
We can get to that part.
Oh, okay, so that part.
And it washed them out.
Oh, geez. So they're probably using some water-based paint or something. So the overflowing issue, that's gonna be over there. So every skimmer has a 1/2-inch line in the back. It's an overflow. For the pool, when it rains like it did now and it's filled to the top, it gets a certain level, it's gonna take it to the drain. Now we put duck bills. If you had drains in this area, I'd put a duck bill here to protect the property, right? You want the drainage to stay away from your house.
There was a thing we had to cap it because where they had it under that.
Yeah,
They didn't
it
do
was too low.
We had to close it because we kept running out of water in the pool and it would turn off the equipment.
Oh yeah,
This was it.
right.
We
Okay.
had to, it's capped.
So you can still, so I would probably use that side, saw cut in and tap in over there since it's the least path, least resistance and less damage.
Or reopen this
You can.
and just drop it lower.
Yeah, you can cut out that, if you're 100% sure it's right here.
It's right here.
All right, if it's right there, cut out this piece.
So I actually had the raw guy come back to seal it.
Okay.
That's what happened here.
All right. So that's definitely got to be addressed. The rest of it, you know, a little facelift on the rock. If you're happy with the texture, not really a big deal. Looks like you got some luminaires here. Those work?
Yes.
All work? Good.
Turn on.
Yeah. So this fire pit, or fire bowl, couple issues here. Mainly the valve, right? Those valves are adjustable. So you can move the pipe in and out depending on the rock. A lot of times the masons that come, the block guy should be the guy putting the stone so he knows what the game plan is.
Yes.
If not, you end up with that, you know, nipple hanging out.
No.
So you just need to open that up.
So obvious, too.
Yeah, so you just need to open that up, sink it in a little more. The top part, the ring, they did copper. I wouldn't recommend that for what you see.
Yes.
You get $12 ring, screw it in and you're done.
Play still?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It looks like they brazed it, but so there's usually threads here.
Okay.
So if it's
Hopefully
threads, you just throw it in and you're done.
Yeah, we gotta double check that.
If not, we're gonna have to go from the gas line, grab a 3/4 inch line up with nipples and then put the stainless steel ring on it. It's $12, dude. To do it right, it's cheaper than what they did there.
For the pool being a year old,
Yeah.
it shouldn't look this beat up.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing a 250, 300K job, you would expect to at least rub off the pencil marks, right? So those are the little things that piss people off, right? So I'm gonna walk you through what I think you can do to get you to the finish line and be happy at the end of it. There's some things that are minor touch-ups. There's some things that are more intrusive, right? I already saw on top. We'll walk through and check out your water features. I think there's a whole waterfall missing that's not even piped or plumbed. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. So this is cool. It's good that they put some detail in the back.
See the lizards?
Yeah, I like them. I like them. So all this effervescence, man, I mean, you're gonna get that regardless. You can treat it with the light mix of acid and muriatic acid and water, 50-50 mix, the spray bottle, it'll eat that up.
First thing that, when they first built it, they never brought the piping up. And this is the first thing that one of my buddies brought up to me.
Wait a minute, so there was no plumbing for the slide?
No.
So you're just gonna slide on?
They had to re-break it in the end and bring up the plumbing.
Yeah, so
this is a second job attempt.
Okay.
Should have been done in the beginning, so it could have been nice and smooth.
So they demoed here, probably cut through here, tapped into here, added that Jandy valve.
One of the stairs. They had to drill into that, correct.
So obviously you need water on a slide, so that's definitely a miscue by whoever built it. The other thing I see is they forgot the plumbing here, right? So this is supposed to be a waterfall.
Exactly.
So this is supposed to fill up, right? Couple issues on this. I told my guys, I think there has to be plumbing here somewhere. If they forgot the slide, then they forgot this, right? So another issue here, this trough basin is meant to fill up and flow over so you have a waterfall next to the slide. The problem is that they have an overflow that way that's going to spill all the water there before you get anything down the waterfall, right? So a couple things here.
I never knew that was gonna be a
you know, this is a waterfall, and it probably makes your pool look badass if it works. So I would recommend here, demo this edge, tap into the slide. Now here's the downside of that. You're gonna lose water flow to your slide, right? So now you're sharing the same volume of water for two features. Usually this would be a dedicated line. So that's the easy fix. The hard fix is run another plumbing line however we can get it here, right?
Poor management, dude.
It is. That's all it is.
Because the owner of the company should have been paying attention to everything.
So the problem is that a lot of builders, the owners of the companies don't leave the office, or they're in Havasu all week and they're managing from a phone, and nobody walks on your job to see what the left hand's doing, the right hand. Your masons that come here are worried about putting cement on rock, carving it out, painting it, getting out of here. They don't really know what the plumber's plan was or when he planned to do that, right? So that's the benefit if you have a company that does everything together, right? It's just more smooth, there's synergy, everybody knows what everybody needs. There's no reason why this shouldn't be plumbed, especially no reason why a slide shouldn't have water, right? What are you trying to, peel the backs off of people? So the fix is we can demo this, cut into that line, feed it, and then get water here, build that up a little bit so water flows through the bottom. Maybe trim this down so you have more flow, right? And that would be a simple fix if we're just tapping into that. If you wanted to run, if you wanted heavy flow, like almost a grotto effect, then we'd have to find where your equipment is, run a new line, hide it somewhere through the rock, and then feed this. Your equipment's right there? Where's your equipment? Oh, okay, that's kind of a long run. So what, before you go too far, that's another issue. So this,
dripping into the grotto.
So when you have rock work, you don't want to have standing water, right? If you look at all your floor, you'll see the white coming out of the cracks and stuff, and it's probably because they didn't slope it right. You shouldn't have water pooling right there. That needs to get built up to get the water out of here.
Right.
In this area where you look at the waterfall, all these areas that you're getting the scale and calcium buildup, it's water, you have cracks everywhere, right? And you're right, a year into it, you shouldn't be there.
Shouldn't be looking like this.
You shouldn't be there. So when
Looks like a 7-year-old job.
So this rock work, to me, I don't think they ever patched it up. So concrete's gonna crack, 100% guaranteed all the time. You put the base coat, they shotcreted it, they probably they put their base coat. To me, this is a base coat. There's not a lot of texture, there's not a lot of carving. You would put another 2 or 3 inches above this to give it that highly detailed, natural look. So once you do that, then you gotta waterproof the whole thing, right? All these cracks here, all these cracks that are eventually gonna allow water to get into your rebar, it's gonna deteriorate this pool within 3 years. So if you get the rebar wet, it's gonna rust, and now all of a sudden you compromise the structural integrity of the entire project. And this is a structure where people can potentially be underneath,
of course,
right? So I would demo this down, put a new layer, waterproof everything, like from here that way, just waterproof. You don't have to do a lot of detail. It's not something people see, but bare minimum, so you don't have these like rough finish. Like if you look here.
Are you more talking about from here to here?
No, just wherever you see the cracks, see?
Okay.
Yeah. So all these cracks are gonna allow water to get into the structure. And once we go inside the cave, you'll see all that water dripping by the fridge.
Yes.
That's because of this. That's because of this. And if you do have an area where it's impossible to get the water to flow out, like on the front of your grotto, you can put a hole on the side with a drain line so you don't have that.
I know.
Right? So you put a simple half-inch line here, put it to the side so it doesn't go in the pool, and then that's it. You're done.
Correct.
So I think what happened here, honestly, I think that the project was probably too big for the company, or they underbid it and they started like cutting corners at the end. Just little things tell me that, like this wood. There's no like age rings in here. There's no detail. They just said, hey, hit it with brown. Hit it with brown, right? This is the kind of stuff that when you're spending 250, 300K, you're like, hey man.
A lot more detail.
A lot more detail.
Right.
Like, I just, it's not a bad concept. It's a great design. I think you're, you know, at third base and you just need a little bit of bring it home. You know, it's not a nightmare. Hey, you got to tear it down and redo it again. Exactly. But it's just you're right. There's a couple of things. There's no reason that shouldn't be plumb. There's no reason why this shouldn't be waterproof.
Yep, there's no reason that should be sitting
Yeah,
there.
no.
There's no reason why this doesn't drain properly.
Where's the drains in this area?
That little hole.
Let's check it out. That little tiny hole?
That little tiny.
And this is falling into the cave?
This is actually taking it out right there.
So you see, even when they did the repair work, watch, just look at the flow of this. So you have stamped concrete kind of look, and then wherever they did the repair work, it looked like they just smeared with their hands.
Correct.
So you see all this,
It's all chipping up.
it's just a lack of detail.
Yes. This is so small that I had to pull a rock out of it because it was stopping the draining.
Yeah, I would definitely, you don't have any lighting in here or nothing?
Up here, no.
No, definitely probably need some lights to light this up. But yeah, I mean, this is a cool concept. I would have never designed something like this. I like it. I think I'll incorporate it in mine, but bare minimum, dude, I would chip this down and
Seal it.
attend to that stuff, waterproof it, and then give it a real detailed paint job. You're almost there. The wood is great. The benches are cool. You have beautiful trees and greenery behind you. Like, you have all the pieces to make this beautiful, but they're all spread apart, right? So let's go take a look downstairs, see what else we got. All those problems up top, all those little cracks, the little hairline, that's what's causing this, right? So you see all in here, you should not have any water leakage in here. If you see this,
It's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
You got the lights in here? How do you turn the lights?
It only turns on at night. Oh, jeez.
So you see all this? See, it's wet right now. I mean, if you're going for that the Rio Cave stalagmite look, this works. So look, all this, look, you got plenty of holes coming through.
A lot.
So what that means is you have thin concrete, metal lath, rebar, metal lath, thin concrete. Now all that shit is wet, right?
The rebar they used, it wasn't done that good. It was some chicken wire over here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See,
I
look.
actually have a video for you.
So if you look at this, it almost looks like they just wiped it on with the broom. You see the broom marks? Not a lot of detail. I'm gonna see if we could take them to one of the jobs so you can see caves. We got plenty of caves. So here's a bigger problem, Raj. Check this out. So you see this fridge, right?
Yes.
So
Definitely.
first thing I saw when I came here, I'm like, where's that water coming from, right? Hopefully you're defrosting something, but that's all coming from the top. Another issue, any plug. has to be GFCI protected. So that water, this has to be changed like ASAP. That's like safety. If you're here barefooted, you're gonna fry, right? GFCI protected. It's simple. It's just changing that out for one with the reset. That's it. And then you got to have a waterproof cap. That's an indoor plug cover. So you know, simple box, gray box with a flap, waterproof. But yeah, this is definitely a big issue.
Where is this water coming from?
That little pool up there.
Which little pool?
The pool on the front of the grotto. It's coming through the rock. It's coming through the rock. So we got some in here, some major issues. I see you guys with speakers. That's a pretty cool touch. I was hoping most of my clients add some of those. So was that part of their scope, or?
No, that was actually a friend's idea.
I like it. It's a smart frame.
There's a couple in here too.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for the top of the ceiling of the cave, you know, it's kind of probably a lot more work than you want to get into. Can you live with this? Yes. More interested about the structural integrity and not so much the finish, right? So I mean, the inside looks pretty good. The walls are nice. The wood is pretty damn good. It's just the top. It looks like they got really lazy, really lazy. So I mean, I don't even know.
Definitely needs some serious sealing.
Yeah, and then from what I know, unless you had some special engineering, the widest span for a grotto or a cave access is supposed to be 8 feet. So this here, it's kind of a long span with all that weight. I'd be concerned about maybe adding a post here to support in the middle. Because if you're telling me they use thin chicken wire and we got thin concrete and now cracks, like what if this thing just starts bubbling and sinking in over time?
Definitely.
So I would think about maybe supporting this, a couple mine shaft, you know, woods to, it'll give you a better look, and then that peace of mind that this is not going to come crashing down on your family. But the pool looks good. I mean, the spa looks great. Nice big size. You got a little bit of leak in there, but it looks good for the most part.
Where's that coming in from?
All that's going to be from the side, from the grotto piece.
All the leaks right there, huh?
Yeah.
But not as bad as over here.
No. Once you address it on the top, I mean, the damage that's there is done, and the only way around that is to rip it off and redo all the metal, which I don't think you need at this point. I think you caught it early enough where you can patch it and fix it. The accountability, do you show up, right? Do you handle your business?
It's the way he plays.
Everybody messes up, but do you answer the call? You know, so like this here, $4,200. I mean, this is a 30-minute task to finish that stone, right? So talk to me about your sump pumps. So sunken areas, I'll be honest, I hate them. Sump pumps are horrible. They got 1-year warranties for a reason. Like that, see? They stop doing their job, they keep going, they burn themselves out. So sunken areas, they're cool. You get to serve people, people swim up. But when it rains and you get water, especially you're on a hill, you get the natural stream and the drainage from the dirt, it's highly potential for flooding, right? How much water did you get over the last week with the rain? Did it fill up?
Up to the first step.
Oh, crap. So everywhere you have those lights, you have a direct line to the natural soil, right? Which is sucking up water, moisture, it's coming through the hills, and it's gonna fall through, probably came out through your lights, filled this in, and then you have everything from the backside, and now you have a pump that's not reliable.
And this thing filled up. This took 2 hours draining it.
Now, do you have any slope like down that way?
I think the whole thing is kind of slow.
So I know now you have a lot in the way, but you know, in the future, whenever you build sunken areas, if you have the opportunity to just run a solid 4-inch pipe down the grade, you don't have to worry about sump pump, right? It's always going to flow down to where the lowest point is. So sometimes we build on a hillside or something, it lends itself well to that. When I build these on a level ground, I hate them. And I tell the homeowners right away, sump pumps are a 1-year warranty. You need to check them before the rain season. Make sure that it works, because you get leaves in there. They keep running like you just found yours running when it was dry. They burn themselves out, right? I get a call 3 years later, hey, my thing's flooded. Absolutely it flooded, your pump's gone. Now, you know, we still go back because they're clients that we go to their barbecues. But technically, a builder only needs a warranty.
I like that you go back.
I do. If I don't want to eat their carne asada, I don't want to build their pool. You know what I mean? It's kind of my rule. But your fireplace, look, man, everybody can Monday morning quarterback people's work. I don't like to talk crap about people's work, but are you happy with it?
50%.
What do you see? What's the 50% you don't like?
The spaces, a lot of them.
So, what about this?
Yeah, I see exactly that. Exactly that.
What about the edges? What about the edges?
Look down there. Look how much that one's sticking out.
Yeah. So, stacked stone or veneer, it comes in panels. They're like a foot by 6 inches, right? And to make it look tight and nice and to look clean on the edges, you know, either you buy the corner pieces, which are a lot more expensive, or you 45 them, you miter them so it looks better, right? If not, you'll end up with these big gaps. And then you can kind of see the pieces, right, where they actually came together.
Yes.
And it takes away from that clean look. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Is the average Joe gonna catch it? No. But if you're sitting in the pool staring at this for 2 hours, after like 3 drinks, you're probably gonna be like, hey.
Square right there, I can see it.
Yeah. I'd be worried about the buzz guy in the pool saying, who built this? Right? So you need a couple pieces, not a big deal. You got your fireplace, smack that in there. Fire brick. So it's not gonna be a burning, this is electric, right? Okay, yeah, so you're good. If it was a wood burning or gas burning, you have to line all that with fire brick. I would still do it.
Is this something common? Why they
saw cut.
these?
Yeah, so this is called a saw cut, and they kind of screwed up right here, but so a saw cut is to relieve the tension. It's just like the joints in the concrete. So it just gives you a cleaner look. See how these are like 1/2-inch joiners? This is just a saw cut.
Doesn't look good though.
Yeah.
This is just what all jobs are.
No. This
It just looks ugly, and that shouldn't have been cut on the stairs,
right.
and it shouldn't have been cut here. It just doesn't make sense.
So they did it to prevent cracks, but see the crack was here.
Yes. Here.
You're not gonna guarantee against it. Yeah, it cracked anyway.
And
So
you should have seen the rebar put into this. It was perfect.
yeah.
Still cracked.
3 inches on center.
Oh,
It was tight. Yeah, these are very problematic, right? So for countertops, we usually pour 4,500 psi. We put fiber in there, rebar, and then after we have the concrete, we polish it. Take literally like a grinder to it, polish it down, seal it, and then you get that little exposed look, right? So you don't have all the shadowing and all that. So here you're trapping moisture probably because of water. You don't have any gutters in the front, and it's all falling here, and then it's just kind of soaking this area, right? So it's soaking this area. You don't have gutters. You can prevent that with obviously waterproofing and sealing.
Get some gutters.
And get some gutters. What else problem here? Everything else looks good?
Well, I would say, let's take a look.
I mean, the structure looks solid, except for the bolts that are missing. So this is built more like a Lincoln Logs than a structure, right? I mean, how are those things held together? You see that?
Yes.
If you look up here,
Correct.
you're supposed to have 1/2-inch bolts, at least 8 of them on each side. So, damn, you don't have any.
Yep.
Now, that's not a cheap cover, right? It's heavy wood. You probably built it mid-COVID. Prices were crazy.
Yes, sir.
So people were, you know, how long did it take you to start building from when you signed your contract?
About a year and a half.
So you signed a contract, a year later you started building. Did the price change? Did you get oh man, everything went up, but we got to relook at a couple numbers?
Some stuff. There was like a couple projects added on that was.
So change orders.
Exactly.
So builder to homeowner, I'm gonna tell you the game.
100 grand.
See, I'm gonna tell you the game. A builder can't control when you start based on permits and how long it takes to process through the city, right? If you don't run permits, great. You're digging, you have a contract, we agreed on 200 grand. That's what it is if you start. A year down the road, especially during COVID times, wood was up like 300%, concrete is up 200%, rebar is up 60%. So everything went up. So a lot of builders were caught with their pants down like, oh crap, I have a project, but now I'm not gonna make any money. So you have two options. You can say, my contract is only valid for 30 days, which most do. Or you say my price is valid if you buy all the equipment, the materials, the stuff that it's gonna take on day one. Or they come back and get you on the change orders, right? So you probably gave them
the change order.
You gave them a favor. So if you said, hey, I wanna add a fireplace and this chimney and all that.
Double taxed.
Exactly. So I gotta make up the ground. Instead of charging you 12 grand for this, he charged you 24.
Of course.
So that 100 grand for all your change orders made up the difference for the price changes.
Yes.
So for all you homeowners, if you get a contract, build fast. Don't sit around and wait, because you're probably gonna get hit with nickel and dime change orders all the way through. I hate change orders. I like to go in, know what I'm doing, get the hell out, right? Because it doesn't leave a good taste in anybody's mouth. You know, so, but yeah, man, this is not horrible. The biggest concern here is obviously the bolts. I mean, that is, I don't know how anybody can see that and say, hey, we're done. It looks like they drilled the holes to go through.
No, they're there. I see it too.
I see the holes all the way through. It's just, you know what I think happened? And if you look, watch, come here, Roger, look at this side. So if you look at those holes, whatever happened, the wind, the ground, it looks like it shifted, and whoever was supposed to put the bolts in couldn't do it anymore. So it was too much work to adjust the whole cover. So they said, screw it, let it be. It's not gonna go anywhere. But you see how the holes, there's no way they could have drilled them like that.
Of course.
So either one, they drilled them before they set them.
Yes.
Or they drilled it once it was in the bracket and then it shifted.
Yep.
So, and it's like that on all of them. So what's the fix, right? You want to fix it.
Yes.
So the fix is drill a new hole through those holes where it is, put in the bolts, brace it down, or try to get a hydraulic to push the beams over to get it where it needs to be.
See that?
Right? Either way, it's not a, you know,
of course,
nightmare to fix, but it's something that definitely needs to be done.
Fixable.
It's fixable, man. What's out? What else, man? What else is problematic? You feel a little better? It's not too bad?
Yeah, I mean, I can turn everything on. You can see how it works, you know?
How do you keep people from falling in there?
Well, I actually have a plate that goes on top, but since it got wet, I'm gonna go get it powder coated.
So,
it wasn't really painted.
So when you do those, there's a trick, especially if you have concrete. You could do a form and you put like a lip on the inside, and then you just do like a pour in place pad with the drain, and then you can pull it out.
Love it.
So it's just concrete, and it's a cap that lets you access a pump, because a pump is gonna fail. I don't care what brand you get. We try to get the most heavy duty commercial grade pumps, and they're still best case a year of service for them, right? So in California, it doesn't rain much except for this year, but I tell all the homeowners, man, check your thing once, like when you get into winter, rain season, make sure it's working, pumping out, fill it up with water, because if it's there all year, you're probably gonna have rat nest and leaves and all kinds of stuff that comes through the drains, and when you need it, it's not gonna work. And then I get the call Sunday morning, hey, my barbecue's underwater, right? Jeez. I try to avoid that. All right, guys, so you heard it from Roger, man. Unfortunately, this is a too common occurrence. This is why we have this channel, try to educate you, the buyer, and hopefully the builders, to do things right. People spend a lot of money, they work hard for it. We should do the right thing, attend to your problems. No job is perfect, including ours, but we're here to try to make it right. So hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Make sure you guys research the companies you're doing business with, check the references, make sure the work that they're showing you on paper or on social media, on the internet, or is actually their work, and keep tabs on the progress, right? There's no reason why you should have a slide without plumbing, waterproofing, or forgetting to paint certain parts of the job. So it's just a message from us to you. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.